All right, we got David calling in from the UK. About the third or fourth time we tried to get his ass on the line. Finally, the technology holds through. How are you, David?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. What you got for me this morning?
Excellent. I just wanted to, obviously in light of what CM Punk's done like the last 7 days, he's walked out. I just want to know what you think is the biggest difference in fan perception from when you, quote, took your ball and went home, unquote, to how fans feel now to what they did back then.
Man, I tell you what, I think his head is probably in about as close a spot as mine was back in the day. And, you know, I made a knee-jerk reaction to a booking decision that they had with me on a short-term basis. You know, I was down there in Columbus, Georgia, when I heard the creative for Monday Night Raw in Atlanta where they wanted me to do a favor for Brock Lesnar. And I said, oh, man, that's not a good idea because that's a pay-per-view match. That was a feud. That was an angle, and they just wanted to have that match right out of the blue. So I said, hey, man, piss on this. I'm out of here. Fuck you. And so I hauled ass home. And I think what has happened with CM Punk is mine was just instant, and Punk's has just been an accumulation of things, the territory, the system being booked in a way that he does not see fit. Not specifically to his storylines, probably within all of the storylines in general, he is not impressed with the direction that the company is going. And I think he feels some people that he is close with or is a fan of is not getting their due respect or their due push, and other people are. And someone explained it to me the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but it was like they broke it down like it was a marathon match, and the marathon is 26.2 miles. And all of a sudden, you know, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, these marathon runners are carrying the torch, and at mile 26, with only 0.2 miles left to go, they hand the torch to someone else to finish the race.
I'll follow you.
I think he's in this. What's that?
It seems the same story. Like the last 2 or 3 years, The Rock comes in, he takes the title from Punk, and all these part-time guys are coming back, and they're just stealing it from the workhorses, so to speak, who are there day in, day out, busting their ass.
You know, the talent base is very thin. The roster is not very deep. I'm not knocking any of the superstars currently there, but obviously, you know, when The Rock comes back, that's The Rock, and that cat's knocking movies down worldwide. There's 3 times during the year where I can't go anywhere out here in Los Angeles without seeing Rock's face on a poster or on a bus. And, you know, there's a real good reason to bring The Rock back because he's earned it and he's the big-ass star. Dave, has gone for 4 years. He's come back. And maybe a little bit too soon to put him in that spot, but we'll see if things change there. But to go to Vince's mind, I just think the roster is a little bit thin on guys that he would like to headline WrestleMania and really draw in the buy rate that he's looking for. And I don't mean that as any disrespect to anybody in the game right now. It just goes to show how many guys they have that are truly over enough to make people want to spend that dollar. Now, when you talk about WrestleMania, sometimes, by and large, WrestleMania sells itself because it's the big show, and you want to see the payoff from all the storylines going in and where they're going to go coming out. But that being said, you got to have a strong 1-2, at least a 1-2 punch in the semi-main and the main.
That's right. I agree. Absolutely. In my opinion, and it's no knock to Dave, because I really enjoyed Dave Bautista when he was in it before.
Sure.
But I just think bringing him back and just literally giving him that main event, I just don't think fans these days are going to buy it.
They might have bought it had Daniel Bryan got in the Rumble. Now, remember, Daniel Bryan had already wrestled on the card that night, and he wasn't guaranteed to be in the Rumble. People made the assumption that he would be in the Rumble, and that was on the people's part. But they just figured since he was in the building, he would be there. Had he at least made an appearance in the Rumble and someone had shit-canned him over the top, that might have saved Batista's ass, and they would have been more receptive to him winning that match. But the fact that Daniel Bryan wasn't even in it and the fact that, they really wanted that number 30 spot, which was taken by Ray, to be Daniel Bryan, and it wasn't. They were pissed off, and I think they were going to be pissed off at whoever won. And even going down to the final two combatants, whether it was Batista and Roman Reigns, they wanted Roman Reigns to win on a cool factor.
Absolutely.
And you can't drop it that fast to Roman Reigns. That's got to be a slow build. They've got a great story going on in the Shield, and you got to really build that thing slow because that kid's going to be a big superstar, but now is too soon. So, it was kind of fucked up from the word go.
I just don't think. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where it's going, but I'm pretty sure now that the whole CM Punk situation is not a work.
Well, it could have started off as a shoot and end up being, him. He ends up coming back, and it could be something that turns into a work, but organically started off as a shoot. So, if you were CM Punk, if you had some words to tell CM Punk, some advice, what would you say to him?
I think he's needed to have rested up for a long time. And I watched I don't know if you've seen the video Mick Foley's, I think he put it up on YouTube or something like that. It's about 5 minutes long, and he was talking about him needing a rest and his promos and those pipe bombs of not being as prominent as what they were maybe 2-3 years ago. And I think that has shown. And I think he probably, if he has walked away now, I think he's probably best that he just, rests himself up, gets himself back to where he was and find a love for it again before he comes back.
But the thing you also got to understand about a promo is, a lot of times, when he first started getting hot a couple of years ago, and then they just started giving him some mic time just for the sake of mic time so that he could fulfill, a little bit of a promo and some time on the show, sometimes that can work against you. You have to have a reason to pick up that horn, and he is a wonderful, great promo. Very articulate, eloquent, very well thought out with a great delivery. But all of a sudden, if they just handed Stone Cold the microphone every single Monday night and just wanted me to hear me flap my gums to cut a promo, it would have run its course very soon. You have to have a reason to cut promos. And maybe, as Mick Foley said, the promos or the pipe bombs haven't been what they used to be. It's the motivation and the situation that he's placed in which really dictates those promos. So I don't think that you could fault CM Punk for the promos. If you had, as we wrap this call up, David, if you had something to tell WWE Creative, what would you tell them in 15 seconds?
In 15 seconds, I would tell them, open your ears, listen to what people are chanting at you. Week in, week out. I think people are tired of Cena and Orton, and they want something fresh. And I think Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns and a lot of other guys on there are what people want to see right now.
Duly noted. Go ahead.
As long as it's built up right, it's got to be built up right. You can't just throw them in there because else that's just doing the same as what they're doing now with likes of Batista. But as long as they build them up right, the fans obviously want to see them. So build them up right and give us fans what we want.
Give the fans what they want. But and again, with all due respect to Cena Orton, they're in between a rock and a hard place. They know those two guys know that they've wrestled each other 100 times. But all of a sudden, when that's who the powers that be want them to dance with themselves again, it is what it is. You can't fault those guys for that.
Yeah, definitely. Cena's he is in a hard place. He's damned if he does. He's damned if he doesn't. No matter what he does.
He is, and people want to turn him heel or stop shoving him down our throats. But
I don't think that would be the answer.
He's not going to be a heel. He's the face of the company. He's just
people wouldn't buy it.
He's the number one guy there. Believe me, whether people boo him or they cheer him, they love to do either or. But they all respect him, and I have a ton of respect for him. He's had about 11-year run. If there's someone better than CM Punk, they will come out and if there is someone better than John Cena, he will move in front of John Cena. That guy has not arrived just yet, or it is not his time, because Vince will hold certain people back for certain reasons, but he's a businessman, and if there's a guy that can replace John Cena, he will replace John Cena.
It's just right. He is the face, whether people like it or not. When people talk about wrestling history, they always say Hogan, yourself, John Cena, and that next person hasn't turned up yet.
And we'll see if they do. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in all the way from UK and the persistence to keep coming back. You ain't no damn quitter. Opening up a can of audio whoop-ass here on the Steve Austin Show. I'll catch your ass down the road.
Take care, pal.